Another concept of the elasticity is called cross elasticity of demand. Cross elasticity of demand is the response of quantity to the change in price of other goods. To the change in price of other goods. When we speak the term of other goods, it means two goods basically. One is called the complementary goods and second are called the substitutes. Complementary goods and substitutes. The formula will remain same. The formula will remain same. Cross elasticity is shown by XCD. XCD will be equal to percentage change in quantity of the product X, for example, divided by percentage change in the price of good Y, for example. Good Y means substitute product or complementary product. This can be further elaborated by again Q2 minus Q1 divided by Q1 times 100 divided by percentage change in price P2 minus P1 divided by P1 times 100. But from this Q2 and Q1, this is for product X, and for P2 and P1, this is for product Y. Okay. Now, the situation becomes a little complex here again, because there are two types of product that have two types of relationship with the primary product. The substitutes are those products that can be used alternatively to each other. For example, petrol and CNG. For example, wheat and rice. But the complementary goods are goods that are used with each other. For example, petrol and car. For example, bread and butter. So these are called, for example, shoes and socks, that are called complementary. Problem is here, in the case of complementary goods, for example, in the case of petrol and car, when the price of one complement rises, the demand of other complement fall. It means there is a negative relationship between the price and the demand of the products. When the petrol will become expensive, the demand of cars will fall. So there will be a negative relationship. It means that by rising the price of one thing, the quantity of the other thing will fall. But in the case of substitute goods, when the price of one product increases, the demand of other product increases. For example, if the price of Coca-Cola will increase, people will shift to the Pepsi-Cola and they will start drinking Pepsi-Cola. So the demand of Pepsi-Cola will increase. So there is a positive relationship between both. So answer to the elasticity will be positive in case of substitute goods, and answer to the elasticity will be negative in case of complementary goods. But the basic principle will remain same. In the case of elastic demand, it will be answer will be greater than 1. For example, 2, 2.1, 1.9, anything. It means that if the price of the product is rising, the demand of the product will rise or fall more than the change in price. The demand of product will rise in the case of substitute good, and it will rise more than the change in price. Demand of the product will fall in the case of complementary good, but it will fall more than the change in price. For example, if the price of Pepsi-Cola has increased by 10%, the demand of Coca-Cola will increase by more than 10, 20, 30%. So this will be called elastic demand. But in the case of petrol and car, if the price of petrol has increased by 20%, the demand of cars will fall by 30% or by 40%. This is called elastic demand. In the case of Pepsi and Coke, it was substitute. In the case of petrol and car, it is a complementary. And coming to the inelastic demand, it will be less than 1. And it clearly means that the response of quantity to the change in price will be less than the change in price. So in the case of substitute good, if the price of Pepsi rises by 10%, the demand of Coca-Cola will rise, but it will rise by 2%, 3% only. In the case of, however, complementary goods, petrol and car, for example, if the price of the petrol rises by 20%, the demand of cars will fall, but it will fall only by 5% or 10%. This will be the concept of price elasticity of demand and its elastic and inelastic things.